I knew that I wanted to do graduate work, but I wanted to have some kind of direct experience in Latin America before I went on for graduate work. And while I was in Sonora during that year, well, a couple of things happened that are important. One is from there, I applied to graduate school and was accepted, first at Berkeley where I did my master's. And also I continued my collaboration with the American Friends Service Committee through the Mexican Friends Service Committee and a sort of offshoot or particular group that worked in Sonora. So this also kept me kind of in the countryside. And this is where my orientation to Mexican history and to Latin American history really kept up a kind of rural orientation. And as I say in the preface to my book, I learned to love the desert, even though in the beginning it was a harsh, very hot and arid environment. I learned to realize what the beauty of the desert is. Intellectually, the year that I had at Berkeley for the master's was very meaningful in that I worked with Woodrow Bora, and then I took several classes in geography with geographers who had worked in the cultural geography tradition of Carl Sauer. And that really was very influential for me. So the notion of how important the environment is to understanding human historical processes, but also how people influence the environment. And something that later William Cronon, of course, would state in very resonating ways, that there almost is no such thing as a pristine environment. The environments that we recognize as being natural have been created in a number of ways by not only indigenous peoples, but by other peoples. This was brought home to me very firmly some years later when I moved to this state, Illinois, was living in Urbana-Champaign, which really is in the middle of the Pampas, and began to understand the whole ecology of prairies. And prairies are created by a natural phenomenon of wind shifting from west to east and so forth, and a gradual drying of the environment some thousands of years ago. But the prairies were maintained by Indian peoples who burned them.